and welcome to our English news bulletin broadcast to you from Canal, Algérie. First, to the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, returns to Algeria after his official state visit to Kuwait. A complete agreement and convergence of views between Algeria and Kuwait, and a full readiness to support the President of the Republic's efforts deployed for the success of the upcoming Arab Summit. The Arab Conference of Solidarity with the Sahrawi people starts in the city of Shahid al-Hafid. In the occupied territories, the Makhzen regime forces is increasing violence against the protesters. The popular anger continues in Morocco. The demonstrators are demanding more social justice and denounce the policy of the regime, which undermines the Moroccan people. Good evening. Those were today's top stories. First, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, returned to Algeria after a state visit to Qatar and Kuwait. The President was welcomed upon his arrival at the Houari Boumediene Airport by Prime Minister Ayman Ben Abdelrahman, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saïd Chingueriha, as well as the Presidency's Cabinet Director, Abdelaziz Khalaf. After listening to the national anthem, the President reviewed a detachment of the Republican Guard who honored him. During his visit to Kuwait, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, was received by Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Subah, the Emir of the State of Kuwait. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, was received by the Crown Prince of Kuwait, Sheikh Mishal Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Subah. The meeting took place at the Bayan Palace in the princely cabinet. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, left Kuwait on Wednesday afternoon after a two-day visit. He was joined at Kuwait International Airport by the Crown Prince Sheikh Mishal Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Subah and senior government officials. After listening to the national anthems of both countries, the President and the Crown Prince greeted the present delegations. The visit aims to consolidate bilateral relations and strengthen the deep bonds of brotherhood between the two brotherly peoples. On Tuesday, in the Kuwaiti capital, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, met members of the national community established in this country. He reiterated his willingness to grant all facilities to Algerians established abroad so that they can contribute to the building of Algeria and the revival of the national economy based on the new approach of economic diplomacy. The President of the Republic emphasized the efforts of the state to develop investment by involving members of the national community established abroad.
بالنسبة للاستثمار بالطبع يعني الاستثمار احنا كنت نشرح قبيله قيمة الاستثمار عندنا الاستثمار الوطني ولا الاستثمار تاع الأشقاء ولا الاستثمار تاع الأجانب كذلك. احنا مرحبا بهم. فيه قوانين لما يجي مثلا جزائري يستثمر في بلده الثاني الكويت فيه قوانين لازم يحترمها. احنا هذاك واش طالبين فقط يعني باش ما تكونش الامور بغموض ولا امور كذا، تكون امور تاع وضوح ويربح ويحول الارباح نتاعو والله يسهل عليه مضمون ومحمي من الدوله الجزائريه. احنا على وشك ربما من على شهر ولا نخرج القانون الجديد نتاع الاستثمار تكون فيه هذه الملاحظات اللي قلتها ان شاء الله نراعي فيها الاستثمار تاع الشقيق والصديق والخاص والدولي يعني تاع دولة الكويت ولا تاع الخواص الأشقاء الكويتيين.
The President of the Republic affirmed that the new Algeria is based on new mentalities and new behaviors, opening its arms wide to investors from the brotherly countries.
مش معناه رئيس جديد ولا وزير جديد ولا تصرفات جديدة. جزائر جديدة يعني جزائر ما هيش معقدة ولا واحد يعقدها، ما هي معقدة لا من الاستثمار ولا من الشقيق يجي يعيش معنا ويجي يخدم ويشتغل ويدي خلاص. احنا الإطارات اللي موجودة اليوم إطارات كلها نزيهة لا غبار عليها لا شكوك فيها ويعملوا من أجل الوطن والوطن وحده فقط.
The head of state has called on Algerian nationals established abroad to participate in the economic leap that Algeria is experiencing.
اليوم الحمد لله الآفاق فتحت. أنا ماذا بيا بكم انتوما والناس اللي معهم في القاعة وفي الجالية تاعنا اللي راها في دول متقدمة يشاركوا.
President Abdelmajid Tebboune reiterated that defending Algeria's interests means defending the interests of the Arab Gulf countries.
بالنسبة للخليج بصفة عامة، بالنسبة للخليج أنا في دفاع عليهم، اللي يمسهم يمسنا، اللي يمس الكويت لا اللي يمس قطر ولا اللي يمس السعودية ولا كأنه مسنا احنا ما نقبلوهاش.
The President of the Republic then held discussions with the members of the national community in Kuwait who were present. He thoroughly listened to their concerns on a number of issues. On this occasion, the members of the Algerian nationals settled in Kuwait highly appreciated their fruitful meeting with the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and thanked him for listening to their concerns. The President of the Republic's visit to Kuwait was marked by a joint declaration in which he highlighted the level reached in terms of the brotherly relations between Algeria and Kuwait, an achievement accomplished in light of the follow-up and great leadership, with an emphasis on the need to give greater impetus to bilateral cooperation in all fields. Both parties also agreed on urging economic investors to seize investment opportunities offered in both countries, while charging the two governments to take appropriate measures to provide the necessary support and bring together the right climate for the success of investment operations. Concerning the hydrocarbon sector, both parties agreed on enhancing the investment opportunities and experience exchange in this field. Moving on to the level of regional and international situations, the leaders of both countries reviewed the situation prevailing in the Arab world, which requires doubling the efforts to strengthen joint Arab action against the different challenges faced by the Arab countries. In this regard, the political leadership of the state of Kuwait welcomed the President's efforts for the success of the upcoming Arab summit due to be held in Algeria, while expressing their full support and readiness to take part in this major step in order to achieve good results up to the Arab people's aspirations. On the other hand, the importance of the Palestinian cause was also at the heart of the discussions, and the need to resurrect efforts aimed at supporting the Palestinian people and restoring their legitimate rights. In light of the common interests between the two countries on issues of peace, notably in the African continent, and under the framework of the promotion of the African-Arab Partnership, both parties agreed on strengthening cooperation and coordination between the Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development and the Algerian Agency for International Cooperation for Solidarity and Development in supporting development projects in the African countries. At the end of his visit, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, expressed his thanks and appreciation for the warm reception and hospitality he and his delegation received. He also invited his brother, the Emir of the State of Kuwait, Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Subah, to visit Algeria, an invitation welcomed by the Emir and whose date will be set later on through diplomatic channels. The conspiracies and plots that are being hatched against Algeria, aiming at undermining its stability and unity, notably through misinformation, requires total vigilance and total awareness. A statement made on Wednesday by the President of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali, at the Parliamentary Day on Public Media and the New Media Environment, during which he urged journalists to be at the front of society like their predecessors during the Glorious Liberation War, who countered the misinformation campaigns targeting our valiant war veterans and won thanks to their patriotism and their conviction of the nobility of their mission. He added that today we are faced by new means of misinformation and manipulation, but the confidence placed in our information professionals confirms that Algeria's free children, women and men are capable of exposing all the plots. The Prime Minister, Ayman bin Abdurrahman, will preside on Thursday over the official festivities of the 51st anniversary of the nationalization of hydrocarbon fuels from Hasim Saoud province. As for this Friday, the digital platform Minha will go online. Job seekers throughout the country will finally be able to register to benefit from the unemployment allowance decided by the President of the Republic. It should be noted that the payment of this allowance will be on the 28th of each month, starting from March 2022. COVID-19 updates now, and in the last 24 hours, Algeria recorded a significant decrease in the new daily confirmed cases of coronavirus, reaching 123, 116 recoveries and 4 deaths. It is worth mentioning that the vigilance and the respect of the health protocol are still of great importance. Within the dynamics of the continuous efforts in the fight against terrorism and against multifaceted organized crimes, units and detachments of the National People's Army carried out from the 16th to the 22nd of February 2022 several operations that led to quality results. This reflects the high professionalism, vigilance and permanent availability of our armed forces throughout the national territory. Ines Killo.
Within the framework of its fight against terrorism, detachments belonging to the National People's Army successfully shot down 7 terrorists on Saturday, February 19, 2022, after a search and sweep operation conducted in the commune of Benizid that is located in Skikda province in the 5th military region. The operation resulted in the recovery of 6 Kalashnikov machine pistols, 1 sniper rifle, considerable quantities of ammunition, means of communication, and destroyed 3 homemade bombs and terrorist casemates containing medicines, foodstuff, clothing, and other things. Similarly, other detachments of the National People's Army arrested 4 terrorist support elements in separate operations across the national territory. Within the framework of the fight against organized crime and in continuity with the sustained efforts aimed at containing the scourge of drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the ANP arrested, in coordination with the various security services in the 2nd and 3rd military regions, 8 drug traffickers and thwarted attempts to introduce huge quantities of drugs across the borders with Morocco, amounting to 11 quintals and 91 kilograms of treated cannabis, while 20 other drug traffickers were arrested in possession of 508,558 psychotropic tablets, seized during various operations carried out across the various military regions. In addition, detachments of the National People's Army intercepted in Tamrast, Borjbeji Mukhtar, Ain Gizem, Janet, and Tindouf 211 individuals and seized 29 vehicles, 240 generators, 161 jackhammers, 10 metal detectors, quantities of explosives, detonation tools, and other equipments used in illicit gold mining operations, as well as 58.5 tons of raw gold and stone mixture, while 14 other individuals were apprehended in their possession 10 hunting rifles and 72 quintals of tobacco in Betna, Biskra, Togourt, Msila and Naama provinces. Similarly, the border guards thwarted attempts to smuggle quantities of fuel amounting to 25,858 liters into Bissat, Taraf and Soukharas provinces. In another context, Coast Guard thwarted attempts of illegal immigration and proceeded to the rescue of 38 individuals on board artisanal boats, while 266 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested in Ilizi, Tlemcen and Bashar provinces.
The National Gendarmerie High Command organized on Wednesday at the National Army Circle in Beni Messous here in Algiers the first national conference on the various forms of economic and financial crimes and ways and means to stop them. The conference was attended by officials of the Ministry of National Defense, representatives of public institutions, in addition to professors and experts in the field. The opening of this two-day conference was supervised by the Brigadier General, the Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie. This forum deals with important issues currently faced by the country. It also aims to identify the reality of economic crime in our country from different angles, in addition to finding effective mechanisms to reduce the repercussions of this phenomenon, as well as seeking to lay solid foundations for a comprehensive national vision that puts forward Algeria's social and economic security. The work of the Arab Conference of Solidarity with the Sahrawi people have kicked off on Wednesday in the town of Shahid al-Hafid on the occasion of the 46th anniversary of the creation of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. More with Melissa Kubash.
With an aim to support the legitimate struggle for the right to self-determination of the Sahrawi people, namely the Sahrawi women activists, a large delegation of female activists from different Arab countries took part in the Arab Conference in solidarity with the Sahrawi people. We stand in solidarity with the Sahrawi people, and we encourage them to concretize their objectives, mainly gain back their independent country. We are here present in the Sahrawi refugee camp to support the Sahrawi cause. As an Algerian citizen, I would like to remind that we are in solidarity with the cause, and especially the colonized African women.
أتيت إلى هنا لمعرفة ماذا يعمل الشعب الصحراوي.
I came here to get to know a little bit more about the Sahrawi people and their traditions, and especially support their cause.
تعتبر هذه زيارة للنسوة العربية.
This Arab women meeting is very important so as to make our voice heard in Arab societies.
المجتمعات العربية بالدرجة الأولى.
The participants expressed their deep compassion and solidarity with the Sahrawi people in their daily struggle against the Moroccan occupier and condemned the despicable and heinous crimes perpetrated against innocent Sahrawi civilians.
Always in the occupied territories of Western Sahara, Moroccan forces violently repressed dozens of peaceful Sahrawi demonstrators who came out to seek justice for the murder of Lahbib Aghrichi on February 7th using live ammunition. The details with Ines Killu.
The demonstrations continue in the occupied Sahrawi territories. In Boujdour, several demonstrations have been organized in solidarity with the city of Dakhla, where dozens of militants have taken to the streets with only one weapon, an inextinguishable voice. Peaceful demonstrators demanding justice in the case of the murder of Lahbib Aghrichi on February 7th, a movement launched a few days ago to demand that the Moroccan occupation authorities reveal the circumstances of this heinous crime and punish the perpetrators. In occupied Boujdour, several demonstrations were organized in solidarity with the city of Dakhla and the bereaved family of Lahbib Gharishi. After refusing to open a serious investigation into the disappearance, the Moroccan authorities announced 2 days ago the assassination of the Sahrawi citizen without clarifying the circumstances. According to information published by Sahrawi media, the Moroccan authorities' involvement in the crime was confirmed after the assassination of the only witness who appeared in video clips with Habib al-Gharishi before his disappearance. Neither threats nor arrests or even less bludgeoning will defeat the determination of the Sahrawi people to fight the Makhzen regime, which has illegally occupied the territories of Western Sahara for more than 4 decades.
Protests against the high cost of living are still ongoing in the Moroccan territories. Thousands of Moroccan citizens are denouncing the Makhzen regime due to the high rate of poverty and unemployment. Melissa Kabash has the details.
For the past weeks, thousands of angry Moroccan citizens have taken to the streets denouncing the Makhzen regime and their terrible life conditions, namely poverty, the high cost of living, and the cut of electricity to hundreds of poor families.
Moroccans have been suffering since the outbreak of the pandemic. Therefore, we are demonstrating against the price hike.
Today, the Moroccan people took to the streets to express their refusal to the high cost of living. There are families among us who cannot support themselves. Protesters across the Moroccan territories are also demonstrating to regain their freedom, dignity, and justice.
We've noticed that quality vegetables are all exported to Europe, while Moroccans consume poor quality products.
There is no freedom in our country. This new government supports corruption and aggression. It promised us an amount of 1,000 dirham and job positions for the young people, but it turned out to be false promises. Opposite parties, alongside consumer defense associations, are calling on the government to take urgent measures so as to protect the purchasing power of citizens.
Still in Morocco, demonstrations against the Akhnouch government and its supporters are still going on after the significant price hike and insisting on the government to leave. That was it for our today's news. Thank you for tuning in.